Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate here how we're going to cut our inside corners with an L to make sure it's perfectly waterproof. So I'm going to start with a shorter piece. It's 23/7/8, but I'm going to be cutting this end after, and it actually extends basically the width here. So I'm going to just give it an extra 2.5 inches for now. That way I got a little bit of room to work with. So we're going to go 26.5 to start. I'm just going to mark with pencil this time. That way it's a little easier for you to see. Now, the shorter piece I'm actually going to make the finish. So I'm going to be cutting a miter on it, but just to demonstrate what I'm doing here, I'll mark up. And with this miter, I'm basically going to not do a 45. I'm going to have this end exactly where we want it, but the other end I'm going to have staying in a little bit. Now this is pretty much all covered, but the purpose of leaving a little bit of straight here is that if you try doing a perfect corner, what often happens is you wind up with a tiny hole there. So just bringing it back a little bit, leaving a little meat there, it just helps to keep that sealed up, and nobody ever sees that either. So on the other side, this one here, we're just going to leave these in, but I'm going to come back any distance really, and this is just going to get cut straight, and from here to here is going to get folded in. So we're going to demonstrate that right now. Once again, I'm leaving a little bit of meat there. I'm just staying a little bit outside, just like so. Down here, this little flap, that's going to help us. We're going to leave that just the way it is, except if I have my little pry bar with me. I don't. I'm just going to jam something in there for a second to try and open that up. And the reason is, when we bring our other piece in, I want it to lock in just like so. If I leave it really tight there, it won't do that. And that's going to help keep everything nice and locked in after it's all said and done. So up here, this one, and to get it nice, I just fold that back so I can go right tight to the corner, and you go on a bit of an angle. And I don't need a hem tool or anything for this. I'm just going to use a square, slide it in where we want it, and fold it against the square. And what we have here is an inside corner. So we're going to get that installed and continue on. So now we're going to do an outside corner. So I measured out 20 5/8. So this is the corner itself. So I'm just going to follow this around. So this is going to be the finished piece that goes over top, and this will be a nice 45. And then we're going to cut this off right here. I'm just going to make sure we got enough meat here. And I'm just demonstrating what I'm doing, marking everything out. And these are all the marks I'm using essentially. This is going to be the piece that goes underneath here. So one thing we're going to do, this is marked. Typically I wouldn't mark it, I would just make a little tick mark here, but I'm just showing that I'm projecting that line to find my other corner. And where I'm actually going to cut it is from exactly here, but I'm going to go back slightly. I want to leave enough here that this hem on the other side will be able to slip over the entire thing. But also I don't want to leave it too close to the edge in case we're a little bit out of square. It's not uncommon, walls being out of square. It just gives us a little bit of wiggle room. So we'll go ahead and get this cut. And then we're going to cut a V out of here. I'm going to use our finished edges down here, so I got my square along the bottom rather than the top, because the top could be out. I don't really pay attention to it when I'm breaking it. So that's going to slip in underneath this piece here. So this piece, and get this cut out. Hold this down. And we're going to go a little bit beside the mark. Just take care of that nub. And then we're going to come back in here, and once again we're just going to make sure we can slip in there just fine. So here's the outside corner. So we're going to start just getting this on loosely. And we're just going to put in one to tack a little further back. And we're going to put this piece in, once again slipping over. You can see my pencil line. Usually I don't leave those in, but we'll just wash that off afterwards. Tack that. That looks pretty nice, actually. And of course we have this here, unsightly little piece. Just going to come in afterwards and just clean that up a little bit with the snips, and that also softens it up. It actually pulls it together and makes it a soft edge. That way it's really hard to cut yourself, and of course it's locking underneath, so this is going to stay together over time, and it's lapped over. So now we're going to come by when we go tape it, and there's going to be a little bead of caulking going in there when they come in for the finish, to finish everything off. So now we come to the inside corner, and this piece should just slip right together if it's done right. See how good my measurements are. Once again, we're just going to throw one tack in, and we're going to come over with this piece here, and once again we have this is going to slip underneath. We're just going to push it together right there. And I'm going to leave it loose here because the other end, we want to just run wild a little bit, because that's going to be getting worked in after. And that's a really nice corner. I'm happy with that. So first thing I'm going to do is finish tacking this in. We want to make sure it's nice and snug and has just a little bit of slope coming out. I staple it right off. And here's the piece going in. So what I'm going to do here, if I can find my knife, I'm going to make just a little incision about 3 inches back, right here, on a bit of an outward angle. Very carefully. I want it nice and deep. And then I'm just going to give it a little bit of a start. Just enough there, and you'll see why in a sec. And these snap-off blades are great because you can extend them out just enough. We're going to go in here, and we're going to make just a little bit of a score there. So now I'm going to come in my little red pry tool, and this is also known as a hive tool. I'm going to start it right near where I made that little incision, and that happens. And because I scored it inside, I can take it off just like that, and we're going to dog ear it slightly in. That way it presses down. When we come in here, does my brake do a nice job for me. Goes in nice and tight. That's a solid joint. Nice and invisible. So just want to take a second to let you know that if you're interested in any of the tools we're using, go check out our bio. In there you'll find a link to the Lowe store, and you should be able to find what you're after. All right, so that's it. That is the basics of doing aluminum L with a hem for outside corners, inside corners, and seams. So if you liked that, if you thought it was helpful, follow us for more DIYs. We'll keep them coming.